Happy Friday. I hope all of you are doing good. And let me tell you what, it's good to be with you tonight. I want you guys to know that. So many awesome people that are in these chats that watch this channel. And I do go back and read all of the chats throughout the weekend after each live stream. And you guys just being you are the reason why I keep coming back. So shout out to everybody in the chat and shout out to all the people who watch on replay. Definitely wouldn't do this without you guys. That's for sure. So, the two-way, the Second Amendment culture war. That's the title of this stream. It's a short title, but it's a big deal. Because we just have to call a spade a spade. We are literally in a culture war right now with the Second Amendment and so many, many different things. This channel's primary focus always has and always will be on the Second Amendment. And I'm going to say what it really is right off the rip, because we need encouragement. We need to realize how somber things really are, but we need encouragement. And what this really is a battle of good versus evil. And evil's always going to prevail when good men do nothing. So we all need to start doing something. We need to get involved in our local community with our friends, our family, and all of those public servants who we send to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. In my case, the Constitution of Michigan and the constitutions of all of these 50 states. And that's very, very important. You guys have to trust me on this because it's true. You are all very, very important. Only if you actually do something, though. And I know you guys do, and that's why you're here. But we need to make the Second Amendment cool again. We need to make this republic, as Ben Franklin said, if we can keep it cool again. I mean, they're trying to make it pop culture right now. And a lot of people in this country are blindly following this new ideology. Many people are trying to make this a communist country. Look, we can never, ever, ever let this become a communist country. Because if we do, not only are you never going to be able to get this republic back, but neither will your kids or their kids. And nobody ever might not be able to get it back because the United States, founded almost 250 years ago, is a very unique experiment on self-governance where the government would literally only be allowed to exist at all to protect your natural God-given rights. Look, I don't think anybody here right now believes the former vice president. Let's go, Brandon. Does anybody think that he created you? I don't think so. What about the governor of Michigan? Yeah, there's a real beauty. And when I say that, I mean in a different kind of way. Does anyone believe she's your creator? Well, of course not. Duh, obviously. Your rights don't come from government. The government is only there to secure these rights. Governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That's you. Now, if you go along with these tyrannical ways, and you go along with tearing down this government where you are supposed to have a government that you see most fit and most likely to affect your safety and happiness, if you go to try to vote or to try to spread the culture to tear all that down, obviously you're antithetical to the United States of America. That's pretty clear cut, obviously. And if you're out there fighting the good fight every day, that's awesome. God bless you. Keep up the good fight. You're obviously trying to preserve this republic. And there's some people that do both. But here's the sad truth. But there is a fix for this. And I'm going to talk throughout the next hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours about different ideas for you here. But here's the sad, cold, hard truth. That's only a few of the people on each end. Most people just simply do nothing. And unfortunately, when you do nothing and you're living under tyranny, that's called implied consent. You just consent because they just keep doing more and more and more. And when nobody stops them, when nobody fires them and kicks them to the curb and says, get out, I'm not going to pay you to occupy my state capitol building or your county commissioner's building or your township hall, wherever it is, nothing's going to change. And they're just going to keep going more and more and more. And they believe that's what people in America want. And I know there are some people that want that, but I truly believe most people don't want that. In fact, I think I have a pretty good pulse on what most of us really want. Most of us just want to be left alone. That's all I want too. I wish I didn't have to keep fighting for the Second Amendment harder and harder as we're losing more and more of it by the day, by the week, by the month here in Michigan, but it's just not that simple. Because until the other side stops and gives up, and trust me, they're not giving up, they're only getting started, we can't give up either. And I know you're sitting there thinking to yourself, well, I'm just one person. What does it matter? And I know when surveys have been taken, the vast majority of the people aren't very confident in our election process. That's to say the least. That's probably about as far as I can go with it here on YouTube. I get all of that. I have the same worries that all of you do. And you're just sitting there and you're like, man, I'm just a grain of sand. What the heck am I going to do? Well, I'll tell you what, this is going to be hard. Nothing good, nothing rewarding is easy. If it's easy, the reward isn't good. And it wasn't easy for the founding fathers to take on the largest. They used to say the sun never sets on the British Empire, the world's largest military superpower. That wasn't easy either. And we don't want things to be easy because when you really, really fight for something, then you get to truly enjoy it and cherish it. So we sit here as nobody with all these little grains of sand. But I'll tell you what, you combine just a few of them, now you've got a spoonful. You add that spoonful enough times, you've got a cup. Throw in a few cups, and now you have a bucket. Buckets make piles, piles make hills, and hills make mountains. You know that, right? You can literally take Mount Everest and reduce it down if you had a big enough grinder into individual little grains of sand. So I want you guys to really think about that. No, you're not going to call the former vice president of the United States. You're not going to call the United States Senate majority leader or minority leader and just get them to fix everything in 1 minute. They won't even take their call. You'll never even get to meet these people, and you probably don't want to. But here's what you can do. You can talk to people, good people who actually matter in this world, like your friends, your family, your neighbors, and your local public servants. And I keep saying that because that's what they are. They work for you. And they're there to protect and to serve their constituents and to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of whatever state you guys live in. In this case, the state of Michigan, which is in a lot of trouble right now. I know some of your states are doing just fine, and I'm kind of jealous, and shout out to all of you, but some of your states aren't doing good either. So I'm going to be talking about some things that are like specifically things that's going on here in Michigan, but it's applicable to everybody. This is all the same thing at the end of the day. This is you guys actually getting involved, finding out what the heck's going on in your hometown, in your county, at your state capital. Let's just stop there for now, okay? We'll talk about federal later. We'll talk about national later. I report on national issues too, but you are way more effective the smaller down you get. And you're way more effective the harder you fight and the harder you try. I mean, I'm a landscaper. A lot of you are factory workers. Some of you are attorneys. We do so many different things with our life, and we're all very, very busy. But sometimes it's hard and you can't see the forest through the trees because you're just so busy with all the stresses of your everyday life that you kind of take stuff for granted sometimes. And that's one of the most painful things. When you realize you had it really good and you didn't realize how good it was till you lost it. Has anyone ever had that happen before? I know I have. And when you lose something good, you just think to yourself, what could I do? I'd do anything to try to get it back. And sometimes you can, and sometimes you can't. But there's an old saying that I like to live by. An ounce of prevention can negate 1 pound of cure. And as bad as some things are in many places, like the state of Michigan, like the state of Oregon, I know you guys in Minnesota, they're piling it on you right now. The state of Washington, New York, California, New Jersey, Maryland. Look, I'm going to miss some, but there's a lot. Yeah, it's getting really, really bad right now. You have to realize that. But we're going to talk about upbeat things today because the Second Amendment is cool. A republic is cool. And that's what we want. And we need to remember that. And we need to not just take it for granted. Because you could wake up one day and be like, what the heck happened to my country? And a lot of you are probably thinking that right now. Now, for all of those of you that have swallowed the black pill, I get it. I get it. There's enough despair and evil right now in the state of Michigan and throughout this whole country where I do get it, and I do get the temptation. But as bad as things are, they can still get a lot worse. I'm going to say that again. As bad as things are, they can still get a lot worse. And the only silver lining is, as bad as things are, that means there's a heck of a lot of room for improvement, and they can get a lot better too. So I want you all to be encouraged. All of us here on this stream tonight, all of you that watch on replay, there's usually more people who watch on replay than when I'm live. Try to have these conversations. Maybe it means if they watch my stream, they'll get motivated. Maybe not. You guys might be way more motivational and could think of 10 times better words to say than me. I'm just here to give us a place to hang out. This is kind of like the old tavern, if you will. You think of Thomas Jefferson, Alexander Hamilton, James Madison. They were arguing about stuff. They didn't agree on everything, certainly. Ben Franklin would stroll on in when he wasn't getting electrocuted by his kite. Right? They didn't always do the smartest things, but sometimes they did. And at the end of the day, they came up with a government that's pretty much like no other that we know of in modern history. And that's a good thing. And we still need to assemble, if it's online, if it's wherever, and we need to talk about these things and come up with solutions, come up with answers, and come up with motivation. Because, again, we have the government that we consent to. And sometimes it's time to go over the heads of the politicians and the swamps throughout the state of Michigan and many other states and this whole country and just go straight to the American people. Just regular old people who are very, very important if they'll just realize it. And I want you guys to all realize that. Because if you're not doing the best you can and encouraging others, what would you have to look forward to? And there's so many beautiful things on this earth and so many beautiful things to experience. You always want to have something to look forward to. And I look forward to just being left the heck alone, just like all the rest of you. But they're not going to leave us alone. So we have to fight like hell every day for the Second Amendment and for this Republic of the United States of America. I'm going to get into some stuff that I did throughout the last week. Before I did, I want to give a couple shout outs. Thank you so much to all of you guys, the ways you guys support the channel. I drove hundreds of miles on a car that I had just barely fixed. It's not even aligned yet, probably prematurely wearing out my tires, but it's all good. That's the choices I make to travel throughout the state. Went to some awesome events, went to a rally, went to an event for my favorite state representative, Jamie Thompson. I'm going to talk about some of the conversations I had tonight. And a lot of you guys were there at these two events. And please chime in if you were down in the comments. So thank you so much to all of you who support with generous super chats. I just saw QD dropped a big one tonight. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it, dude. Last week, Mike McClune dropped 5 channel membership gifts. Just the way the logistics are with the software, it makes it hard for us to see that. But thanks, man. I did see it afterwards, and I appreciate all of you guys. Rudy Finney just became a channel member a minute ago. Thanks for all of you who are channel members, support on Patreon, as well as Locals, which is a different site, censorship-free. It's a place where I do live streams once a week where I can actually touch guns live, and I do, and I can't do that here on YouTube. I'm glad to be here with all of you on YouTube, but we do a heck of a lot more stuff over there that's way more fun than we're allowed to have here, so make sure you check that out. And hey, I know there's some guys out there thinking, man, I'd love to financially help support this guy, but I just can't. Well, you actually can. Go over to Locals. I share lots of deals there. If you're interested in the deals, cool. If not, but I have links. And if you use those links, you know, you don't have $5 for a super chat. I totally get it. Like, I don't have $5 right now either. But when you're over there buying your stuff, we'll just say that because we're on YouTube and I can't promote that stuff here. It takes 10 seconds of your time and you can actually financially support so I can keep all of this going. So I really appreciate all of you. So we're going to talk about a couple events that I went to. And I want you guys to share places you're going to, stuff you're doing, Look, this needs to be trips to the range. It can be trips to your state capital. It can be getting to know or hanging out with your state representative, your county commissioner. Look, if there's no good ones at all, like as far as the eye can see, well, then you need to run or find a good friend that you know will be most likely to affect your safety and happiness. Like Thomas Jefferson said, and then get behind them, knock on doors for them, do whatever you can. I don't want to accept as an answer, but there's nobody good. No, there's a lot of good people in your hometown. I guarantee you, wherever you live, there's lots of good people. You just need to find them. You need to get out and about, and you need to take part in this culture war and actually do stuff. And it can be very, very rewarding. And I'm going to talk about an event with my state representative. You guys have seen her here on this channel. We've done a live stream together. Me and her are always hanging out. She's an awesome person. And I'm going to talk about that event. But before I do, I want to clear up something really quickly, because sometimes mistakes happen and they can have bad ramifications. So as you guys know, I've worked with and exchanged information back and forth many times with Great Lakes Gun Rights. And I believe they've been fighting the good fight for the Second Amendment in Lansing. And there's so many days I'd go there and I'd see Brendan from Great Lakes Gun Rights, and we'd exchange information back and forth. There's been times when I've done live streams where I'm like, guys, hold on a minute. I just got a text from Brendan, Great Lakes Gun Rights, and he sent me a screenshot. I mean, look, there's not a lot of us up there trying to get this information out. So it's been awesome. I'm a member of Great Lakes Gun Rights, and I'm not here to throw them under the bus, and I'm not going to cancel my membership. However, I did find out they did make a mistake, and I don't think that they would do that on purpose. I don't think that for 1 minute, but it's still a mistake, and mistakes can have ramifications. So some of you who are Great Lakes Gun Rights members may be getting a flyer mailed to you, and it will have different representatives on there, and it will score them as far as how they've been for the Second Amendment. And I'm actually all for that, because I'm tired of this blue versus red, Republican, Democrat. Look, a rhino, all these different phrases people use, that can be worse than a Democrat. And we have had Republicans vote for gun control in Michigan, and I've talked about them here. Not because I particularly want to. I don't want to talk about anybody ever voting for gun control, but you guys need to know the truth, and I'll always tell you that. Well, there was a typo, and I believe that's all it was, but still, this stuff happens. And it's not good when it happens. And I'm not happy about it happening, but I'm not mad at Great Lakes Gun Rights either. Hope that makes sense, because it's true. Now, they put out a flyer saying these are the Michigan State representatives who did a bad job, who got a low score on the Second Amendment. And they put Michigan State Representative Jamie Thompson on that list. Well, I'm going to get out ahead of it and let you guys know that was a typo. And it's not true. And her voting record is perfect on the Second Amendment. So if any of you guys get that and you're like, whoa, wait a minute now. Look, Jamie Thompson votes for gun control. She's going to have a lot bigger problems than Great Lake Gun Rights, for example. Okay. So she has not voted for any gun control. She never will. And if she does, you guys will actually hear about it from me first. So I wanted to tell you that there was literally a typo that went out on one of their mailers, and she's never voted for gun control. She's voted against all of the gun control. Now, there was another controversial bill in Lansing called the budget bill. I call it the woke budget. I call it where, yeah, it's many, 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 many things. But let's say it had funding for gun control in it. If you guys go back on my channel, maybe you missed it, you can still catch up. I did a video with Michigan representatives Jamie Thompson and Rochelle Smith. Neither of them are happy about this at all. They're livid about it. You're going to ban guns from the Michigan Capitol. Look, guys, there's never been a shooting in there. There's been no problems with guns in the state capitol for over 100 years. You know, they're banning guns. Just think about the irony of this. They want to ban guns at the Capitol and do all of these things to you in the state of Michigan because they say gun-free zones will make you safer in the name of the tragedy at Michigan State, which was a gun-free zone. I mean, you literally, if you look up the definition of irony, we need to cross all of that out and change it to the Michigan gun control people, because what they're doing is going to have the polar opposite effect, obviously. And these two state representatives and many other good reps get it, and we did a video about that. Well, it needed to be funded. This is the Capitol Commission. They literally have a Capitol Grounds Commission. They're supposed to make sure the paintings are preserved on the wall, the building's cleaned, the windows are washed, the lawn's mowed, the hedges are trimmed, the annual flowers are planted. Okay, you guys get the point, right? Yeah. A lot of people would call this maintenance man. All right. Well, somehow they've been told they have purview by the Attorney General. Don't cross her. That's a whole nother issue. All those indictments in Michigan. It's getting really, really scary right now. Now, keep in mind, all this chaos is happening while they're attacking the Second Amendment as vigorously as they possibly can. Let me know in the chat if you think that's a coincidence or not. Watch what you say. Sir, ma'am, could put you in the old clink for at least 3 years plus for a felony. Watch yourself with that. How you doing today, ma'am? Oh, 911. I mean, it's getting real bad. So this Capitol Commission, maintenance man, let's call them what they really are and what they were created for, to preserve the historic building. Shout out to all the maintenance men. Nothing against maintenance men, unless, of course, they're maintenance men trying to ban guns from the People's Capitol building. And they passed a rule. Now, your state rep and senator didn't vote on that rule. My state rep represents 90,000 people. She didn't get to vote on that. No, nobody voted on that except for this Capitol Commission that you didn't get to elect them. By the way, all of you living in these 50 states, make sure you check to see if your capital has a Capitol Commission that's getting ready to ban your guns, because they just might have one. Be surprised. A lot of stuff happens in the darkness, and we always have to shed light on it. So they needed the funding. Michigan passed this woke budget bill, and it provided $5 million in funding to put that through. My state rep didn't vote on that bill. If she were to have been there to vote on it, she would have voted no. Okay, she's never voted for gun control and never will. But she had something that was more important to do than to vote, and I think any normal person would believe so. She didn't know at first. She had possibly minutes, hours, maybe days to get to say bye to her father, who she had found out had suffered a massive heart attack. Then, unfortunately, she found out he was terminally ill. He was from Kentucky. He's living in Kentucky at this time. And, yeah, I would actually be scared if my representative was such a robot that they couldn't call off work for the day to go spend the last moments, whatever they had. You don't know when somebody's on their deathbed, to spend with their own father. So I thought that was an awesome thing that she did. So that's why she didn't vote on that bill. And I really think she did the right thing. And I have a lot more respect for her than being up there trying to make deals with these swamp critters. Like, unfortunately, a lot of representatives are known to do, in a lot of cases, follow the money, right? But yeah, her father did pass away. I saw some of you guys over on her Facebook page giving her condolences, and I was over there too. And it's a very sad thing, but she's at peace with it now. She's moving on. Not going to ever forget him, but she's moving on, and she's ready to go completely gung-ho with her job as the Michigan State representative. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that, because sometimes that stuff happens, and it sucks, and I'm not happy that a gun rights group would put out a flyer saying somebody that's probably the best on the Second Amendment in the whole state of Michigan, saying they're not good. That's not a good thing, but I truly believe it was not done on purpose. All right. And since it wasn't done on purpose, I just think it sucks, but I'm not mad at anybody. But I wanted everyone to know that before that flyer ends up in their mailbox. So, let's see. Today's Friday. Yesterday was Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. I went to Jamie Thompson's fundraiser event. And I don't really donate to political candidates, actually. And this is where you guys decide how you're going to support people that you think will most likely affect your safety and happiness, to quote Thomas Jefferson again, and who will most likely preserve, protect, and defend the Second Amendment, or in Michigan's case, Article 1, Section 6. You can donate money, you can go to events, you can call them, you can go to their office hours, you can go to their coffee hours, you can do so many things. And I see how much trouble the state of Michigan's in, and I'm trying to do all of it I possibly can. Like, I literally never donate to political candidates, but my wife and I did buy a ticket, and we went to her fundraiser dinner, and it was a cool experience, and I'm really, really glad that I did. I'm going to share my screen real quick and show you guys some pictures from that event and from the rally that I went to in Ionia, Michigan, day before yesterday. And both were cool for totally different and separate reasons. And I was hung out with a certain set of really awesome people here and a certain set of awesome people there. And right now I'm hanging out with some really cool people here on YouTube. So this whole week's been kind of like a win-win, right? And I want to share my week with you guys just a little bit. And I'm trying to pull up my thing here. All right. So first and foremost, I want all of you guys to realize YouTube has an option called the community page. Now, I thought everybody knew about it, but I'm learning one comment at a time. You guys don't know about this. Now, if you're on your PC, your desktop, you just go on the channel and click on community. If you're on your phone, this is an Android phone. It's a super, super old phone, okay? I clearly prioritize many other things, including going to rallies and getting content and guns and ammo for the channel over having a nice phone. But this is what it looks like on my old phone. Let me just real quick switch to this, and then I'm going to switch right back. Okay. I've heard that's a good channel, by the way. It says 2A EDU is live. Cool. All right. So see how it says home, videos, shorts, and live right across the front there. Wow, that's crazy. I can see myself. Who is this guy? I have an imposter. Wow. Jeez, oh, Pete. All right. So I'm just going to scroll across here. All right. You're going to see playlists. And now you're going to see the community tab. This is very important because I keep getting comments saying, dude, I would have gone to the Second Amendment rally, but I didn't know about it. I'm like, man, I posted it on this community. Now, for all these different events and so much more, also make sure you're on my locals community. You can be a free member, or it's a place you can support. And yes, I posted all of this on my locals. I'd rather you guys be on my locals than Facebook because it's censorship free and we can post so much more, but I'm also on Facebook. So if you're following me on Facebook, if you know of the community tab on YouTube, and if you know about locals and you're a free member, supporter, whatever over there, you'll know about all of these events. So that's 3 ways. And I'm always posting stuff. I'm always trying to get more people involved. So definitely make sure you guys check that out for sure. It just saddens me when people are like, dang it, dude. Like, I wanted to go to the Second Amendment rally so bad, but I didn't even know about it. And I'm like, I told you all and stuff. Like, what more can I do? I think it's just a gap we need to fill where people don't even know that, like, the community tab exists here. I talk about it literally every stream, but people still don't know about my locals community. And I also, again, have a Facebook page where you guys will know about all this stuff. So follow me on all 3 or at least one of them, and you'll be able to get all of that stuff. All right. So now I'm going to come over to my community tab. July 4th, 1776. Happy Independence Day. Man, that was a cool picture. I like the 1911. We're going to get more to the 1911 in just a minute here. And here's where I had posted. 2A rally, July 19th, Ionia. There's supposed to be an I there. It was a typo, whatever. Michigan, Kyle Rittenhouse, myself, and many others will be speaking. Here's a Facebook video from the event's organizer, John Rocha, explaining all the details. The event and parking are free. There are also VIP tickets available where you can be part of the VIP tent. Pictures, autographs with Kyle, some of the other guests, a dinner, all of that. And then I put a link to the event page on Facebook. I put a flyer on here. I'm not going to open this full screen because it'll make me lose my spot with the screen sharing, but the address was right there on the flyer. So I definitely went to that rally. Here was the one for Representative Jamie Thompson with special guest Tudor Dixon. That was a dinner, social gathering. That was a really, really good time. And this is what I want you guys to think about. Start browsing around, putting your feelers out. Find out what's going on in your hometown, in your state, the town over, wherever, as far as you can drive. Because this was like a win-win-win. It literally was. Wait, when? There was like 5 wins by going to this. And probably the number one thing is I got to spend some time with my gorgeous wife, my beautiful daughter, like 2 of the awesomest people I know. My wife was my date that night. I was talking to Jamie briefly on the phone. I think it was the day before. And I'm like, Linda and I are coming. She's like, what about your daughter? I'm like, well, I just bought the couple's ticket. I didn't buy a ticket for her. She goes, no, kids don't have to pay to come to my events. Bring your daughter. So I did. She got to meet awesome people. She said the food was great, especially the desserts. She kind of hogged out on the desserts a little bit more, including eating my dessert. I was out socializing, talking about the Second Amendment. I come back, baby girl. She's 11, but she's always going to be baby girl. She was kind of starting to make a move. I'm like, what's she making a move for? I had 2 cannolis. Okay. 2 cannolis. They didn't last very long. So I got to spend an awesome evening with my wife and my daughter. I also got to go there and, in this case, financially support and morally support a true Second Amendment fighting representative. Dude, guys, like, politicians, like, suck. There's not a lot of good ones out there. I totally get it. Again, you have to find where they're at on the state level, get behind them, support them. It doesn't just have to be with money, although that does matter, but support them and get more people involved, because if you do have a good one, you need to keep them there and you need to have their back. So I don't even like calling her State Representative Jamie Thompson. Like, you should supposed to, because it's a very, very important position. I mean, she represents 90,000 people, but to me, she's just Jamie, and I mean that as a huge compliment, and that's what the people in my district want. They just want constitutional-loving Jamie in Lansing, fighting like hell to save this country. So I'm there for Jamie. She was an excellent host as always. The food was terrific. Okay. Awesome food. Oh my gosh. I want to go back and get more of those mushrooms that had, I don't even know exactly what type of meat it was. Chicken skewers. Yeah. I don't know what the dessert tastes like. Thanks, baby girl. But I'm tougher than her. I could have pushed her out of the way, but I let her have it. Also got to talk to just so many cool people from my hometown, the communities over. And it was just a great, like I said, culture building experience where people can talk about things. When's the next event? Where are we going to hang out again? What's going on with this? What's going on with that? And there were state representatives there. There were some other people that were involved in very local politics, mayor candidate. I mean, you had all types of people, and everyone was just having a good time and hanging out. And sometimes that's good for you guys to get in a room full of people and be like, I'm not alone. I thought it was me versus Governor Whitmer, Attorney General Nessel, Speaker Tate. I mean, this stuff gets ominous after a while, right? No. You're not alone. You need to go there. By the way, I have to state the obvious with this picture here. First and foremost, these are awesome people. But yes, Second Amendment supporting and conservative women are much, much more attractive. So you get to hang out with good-looking people, smart people, good people. And these are 2 good ones here. So I said these 2 lovely 2A defending ladies, Michigan Representative Jamie Thompson and Riley Linting, who is the new Michigan GOP Youth Vice Chair. And I got to meet her for the first time, and we actually had a couple good conversations. I'm excited about this lady, this young lady. So, look, there's the GOP chair, and then there's what they call youth. Now, I said, hold on a minute, youth? Do youth even vote? She said, well, I know it's kind of a misleading name at sometimes, but it's basically like 18 to 30 and even 40. Younger people who are actually like the most apathetic usually to politics. And if they are into politics, they usually vote quite liberal because that's considered cool, right? Or whatever it is. Like, how messed up is our country when AOC is considered pop culture? I mean, I don't even know if she could debate herself out of a wet paper bag, let alone even crawl out of one, in my opinion. There's not a lot of subject matter there. Not even cute at all. But somehow she's considered a rock star and motivates a lot of people to vote, right? Well, this lady, Riley, she's pretty cool. She's out there right now just doing the same thing I'm doing. Now, she's not only focusing on the Second Amendment, all kinds of issues, but she's trying to, like, make like having a republic and having a decent state to live in like cool again and appealing for the young people. She's trying to build culture, trying to get people to motivated to actually get out there and find good people to represent them, whether it's in their hometown, whether it's in Lansing, Michigan, or just wherever. And I looked at her and I said, you know what? I said, you need to fight really, really hard, because everybody's not just like some like 40-something-year-old dude like me that's into guns. No, no, no. Lots of young people are into guns. And we need to make people realize, yeah, guns are awesome. And that's the history, tradition. That's the heritage of the United States and of the state of Michigan. And you kind of get them into like, well, the guns are cool. Conservative chicks are good looking. What the heck's wrong with you? Look at the Second Amendment. Do you want to? Now, you can't just walk up to them and say, what's wrong with you? Obviously. Sometimes maybe you should, but most likely probably not the best way to do things. And let them know and be like, you like that gun. You worked a lot of hours for that. You do know that they're trying to take that away from you in Lansing, Michigan, right? Or whatever the capital is of the state you may live in. You'd be surprised, guys. So many people, especially young people, have no clue. And this is the little things. But trust me, these little things are like so huge. I think you'd be surprised. A lot of your friends are probably forgetting to do the little things and just talk about it, like hunting. Well, when you're out hunting, talk about the fact that, yeah, it's going to be illegal soon for me to hand this to you, bud, uncle, grandpa, brother, sister, whoever it is you're out in the woods with. Give me a break. I'm allowed to loan my buddy a shotgun to go hunting with. Yeah, for the last couple 100 years in this country, yes. But unfortunately in Michigan here in a couple months, no. That's how you get conversations going. So Riley's out there trying to help get these conversations started, trying to help fight the culture war. And look, if you're in Michigan, follow what she's doing. Try to get more involved in some of her causes and events. If you're in another state, find your version of her. If there's nobody there doing a good job with that and they suck or whatever, then maybe you should apply. Or if it's a youth person, a young person, you know, should run. I mean, that's where all of this stuff starts, literally right at the bottom. And that's the only way we can tackle these hard issues at the top. So always great to see Jamie. It was kind of a breath of fresh air to meet Riley because, again, I was there and I was able to have a conversation with her. She seems very genuine. And I don't know. We'll see. It's totally up to her, but you may see her on the channel in the future. We did talk about things like that. Tudor Dixon. She ran for governor in Michigan. Some people say she lost. Other people say, well, the voting machines tabulated where it didn't quite end up the way it should, if you know what I mean. You guys have seen videos of different things like that. We're on YouTube right now, guys. I'm being very careful about what I say here. But I wish she was the governor of Michigan. She's not. Now, Tudor's been involved for a long time, actually. She's been on news shows. My wife, actually, when she met her, was like, oh, my gosh, I used to watch you when you were on whatever, and I can't even remember the name of the station now. My wife's been following her and known who she is a lot longer than me. So I met Tudor for the first time and told her kind of what I do and talked to her about the Second Amendment for a minute, and she said, how are we going to get those hunters involved? And I touched on that at my speech. Then I own you. I looked at her and I'm like, that's going to be tough because the problem is, look, half the people in Michigan, more than half of the people in Michigan own guns. All right, check. And some people own guns are just literally the classic FUD. Like, I own a gun, but you shouldn't be allowed to and all that. Okay. But unfortunately, the vast majority of our hunters, and it's not just in the state of Michigan, it's in all 50 states, trust me. The hunters are sitting there saying, wow, ain't nobody going to take my guns. I mean, I'm shooting great-great-great-grandpappy's shotgun. That proves that no one's coming for my guns. I'm like, dude, you're going to be a criminal if you hand that to your neighbor to go hunting in a few months. Like, do you get it yet? And almost every time, this is where the vast majority of people fall on. They're like, I had no clue. I have no idea. Well, then how the heck can we expect to have a government that runs at the consent of the governed when nobody, like the vast majority of the people, don't even know what the heck's going on? It's pretty tough, isn't it? About the only way I can think of to fix that problem, I told her, is, well, we're in a culture war and we need to bring this stuff back up and make it pop culture and remind everybody. And we need to just start talking to people. The only way people are going to find out, the only way the hunters are going to find out that, yes, they are coming for their guns. Dude, it doesn't matter if it's a fudge shotgun, if it's a double barrel, if it's a single barrel, if it's a pump. No, you hand anything over to your neighbor to let him use your gun for hunting, you're going to be criminalized. Like, they've literally crossed the line now where these gun control laws affect everybody. The safe storage, making it safer for the criminal. The red flag laws. I mean, we didn't even mention the word AR-15 anywhere just now, did we? No, they don't care about that anymore. At one time, the Democrats got it handed to them so bad after that 1994 AWB that they had to tiptoe around it. And for a couple decades, they actually did. Ain't nobody coming for your guns. We just want reasonable this, a little reasonable that. Yeah, right. As soon as someone says reasonable, yeah, they're probably insane, at least when it comes to anything to do with the Second Amendment. Just remember that. Well, just reasonable. Now they don't even care anymore. Now they're just like, excuse me. The problem is we need to get rid of all the guns, is what Gifford said. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what the former congresswoman said. So they're not really beating around the bush anymore. But there's still a lot of people under the misconception that think, wow, ain't nobody coming after my hunting rifle or my shotgun. I mean, it only holds 5 rounds. Blah, blah. Yeah, they actually are. If you get red flagged, they're going to come after all of it. All your guns, all your ammo. You could have a single shot 22 and they're still going to take it. If you get red flagged, and they're just going to take it because it's called take the guns first, then no due process at all. And in a country where you are always to be presumed, at least that's what the Constitution says, to be innocent until proven guilty by a jury of your peers, right? Guilty beyond any reasonable doubt. No, that's not what red flags are. It's called take the guns. You don't even know they're taking the guns. The cops are at your door. You're like, good evening, deputy. What brings you here? Well, give me your guns. Excuse me? No, actually, literally, though, that's what's passed in Michigan. And I know some of you guys have that in your states. I know Florida. People call it the gunshine state, and God bless everyone that lives in Florida. Look, your governor's done a great job with the state. I get it. It's a lot less tyrannical than Michigan, but in Florida, there's been lots of issues with red flag laws. Florida's had red flag laws for a long time. I'm encouraging all you guys in Florida, you need to get those off the books. It's unacceptable. So many good people down in Florida. You guys might have a better chance of getting rid of them right now than we do. So I'm giving you guys a friendly challenge. Get off your butt if you live in Florida. The gunshine state should not have red flag laws, but they do. And a lot of people have been falsely flagged. I remember doing a couple videos about that on this channel a couple years back. It's not a good thing. These safe storage bills, making it safer for the criminal when they're in your home trying to come after your children. You, your wife, whatever. These are very, very scary things to think about, but they put laws in that only affect the law-abiding because criminals don't follow laws, and everybody knows that. And Tudor Dixon knows that, and we actually had a good conversation. She had a lot of people to talk to. I kind of waited till near the end because I want everybody to be able to talk to her, get a picture, whatever. But we were actually able to have a meaningful conversation about this, and both of us kind of came to the conclusion, that, or we agreed upon, however you want to word it, that, dude, like, what about all the hunters in this state? Well, the only way they're going to know is you guys are going to have to start telling them what's truly going on here. Because you could have a 22 single shot, a bolt action shotgun. They do exist. I actually have an old Sears bolt action shotgun. If you guys want me to do a review on it, you don't see those very often anymore. 3-round capacity, right? 2 in the mag, 1 in the hole. It's an old bolt action, but it could be your bolt action, 3 rounds, shotgun. And if that's not locked up, you're still criminalized. If something happens within the home and the cops are there, the cops might be at your house a lot more than you'd expect or want them to be with red flag laws. Hopefully all of your exes. Just think about this. How could that go wrong? Hopefully you and your ex are still cool. I mean, can anyone even keep a straight face in the chat right now? Hopefully you and your ex are still cool because they have standing to red flag you in the state of Michigan. Hopefully you're still cool with all your old roommates. How could that go wrong? Like, you just want to sit there and go, yeah, right, dude. Come on now. Look, I care about you guys too much to lie to you. I wouldn't lie to you about this. Hopefully all you and your relatives share the same politics. How many of you guys have ever had political discussions at the dinner table? They say, don't do it, don't do it. Well, that's up for you guys to decide. It's your dinner table, not mine. I think it's fine to talk politics. That whole, don't talk about politics and religion, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, see how far that's gotten us? No. You can talk about whatever the hell you want to talk about. Just don't misgender someone in Michigan and you can go to prison. Look, when they come after the Second Amendment, now they're coming after the First Amendment. Now they're coming after the whole rest of the Bill of Rights with the red flags and the due process. Jeez, oh, Pete. There's a channel I like to watch on YouTube. His name is 2AEDU. Oh, wait. Shameless plug. Trying to be funny, guys. These are somber topics. But no. You're sitting there thinking to yourself, you're like, wait, hold on a minute. My ex, my neighbor, red flags. Yeah. I don't want you guys to actually say this out loud, but just think in your head. What country are we living in where this would be allowed to exist at all? And I've been talking about this for a long, long time, guys. And there's still people just sitting there saying, what are you talking about? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. If it takes sharing my videos to help, go for it. If it takes you guys just talking to people and letting them know what's going on, go for it. But it's kind of like literally nuts to just sit there and say, well, whoop-de-doo. No one's been fighting for this long, and now they're coming for our guns, and they're passing all this crazy, ludicrous stuff. So I guess we'll just sit there and keep doing nothing again. It's a big problem, and we have to learn how to reach people. But this is where you can have a win-win, though. I'm talking to people. I'm brainstorming. What can we do? Who do we need to talk to? Jamie's like, I'm going to Lansing to make sure I cast no on any gun control. I'm like, all right, check. Tutors has a huge national audience and a huge audience here in Michigan. And she's like, I'm trying to figure out how to get the word out there to the hunters, etc. I'm like, okay, check. I'm like, all right, well, I'll keep doing my thing. I'm a pretty small channel, but I'll do as much as I can. And then you've got Riley sitting there saying, hey, I'm after all the youth. I'm trying to remind all these people that, yeah, you guys need to step up. You need to get involved. You need to realize you're not just going to be able to go buy that gun that you used to be able to buy if you don't sit there and protect and preserve and defend the Second Amendment. I got to hang out with my wife, my daughter, my family. Got to eat a wonderful dinner. Talk to other really cool people. I mean, that's like a win-win-win. I know a lot of people only like to do stuff if they can win too. Well, you get to win by helping to preserve this republic, but you can meet new friends. You can hang out. Wherever you're at, get to shoot cool guns with each other. So you have to make sure it's fun. And that's very, very important. And I did have fun this week. So I went to the rally. I'm going to jump over here real quick and look at the chat just for a second here. Were any of you guys at the Second Amendment rally in Ionia, Michigan? If you were, let me know down in the chat. I see a couple names here that definitely were. Let me look real quick here. Yeah. Some people are chiming in right now. American Patriots Apparel saying, my relatives are as crazy as Biden. I know, most people have relatives like that at somewhere or another. It's really, really tough. Grab some of those super chats, Linda. I definitely want to thank people while they're still here, because some of you guys are so generous. And like I said, man, I'm doing what I can, and this stuff's not free, and I don't make a lot of money. But due to your generous support, I am able to go to events and try to build culture, try to inform you guys what's going on, and try to motivate all of you. And I just sigh, not because these events make me sigh. It's because, boy, do we ever need to start fighting a whole lot harder in the state of Michigan, as well as throughout these United States. All right, let me pop up this real quick here. I think, all right. QD started off before we even started the stream tonight with a very generous super chat. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate you, dude. And a channel member. And geez, oh, Pete, a couple hundred of you guys that are channel members. By the way, if you're a channel member, I do have members only content. So make sure you guys check that out too. QD gifted a whole bunch of memberships last week. Susan Wiki actually came in after the fact, right? And said he gifted too much. Look, I can't even make this up, guys. QD was super, super generous. Look, if one of you guys donate like $2 tonight, you're super, super generous. Just to let you know, they did retroactively come back like 2 days later and take some of his generous contributions to the channel. They took it away from the channel and, at least as far as we know, gave it back to him. They literally said, you supported 2A EDU too much? And I can't even make this stuff up, but I digress. He says, nothing but love. Quick question. Is the pronoun felony, whatever law, really going to go through? Yes, actually. There's a lot to it. And yes, it's already passed, actually. So, yeah, and stuff. Yep. Look, I love all of the amendments. This is what I've been saying for so long now. Really, I truly do. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights. These are beautiful documents. But I especially love the Second Amendment because it was put there for not if, but for when they come for all the rest. And guess what? They're demolishing the Second Amendment. Can I be honest with you guys without you getting mad? Don't shoot the messenger here, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I have to tell you the truth. People get mad sometimes. They're like, dude, don't tell us this stuff. No, I have too much respect for you than that. They're demolishing the Second Amendment right now in Michigan with actually not much resistance at all. Actually. Because the Second Amendment culture in this state is not where it even used to be, and a heck of a lot lower than it should be. And the less resistance they get and the easier it is for them, the faster they come. This is the snowball effect. And they so effortlessly went for the Second Amendment. Bingo! Now they're going for the First, and the Fourth, and the Fifth, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. The Third Amendment, I mean, geez, oh, Pete, is it going to be a cop at your door soon saying, I'm here for your guns? Man, my friend Bob Bazad, he's a good dude, man. He's old school. Served his country in the Army, sheriff's deputy for a long time, then the elected sheriff, then a county commissioner. Now he's a state rep. He's like, dude, like, you don't want to know. Like, this is not good. Like, he's like, I would never, ever, ever come to anybody's door with a badge on saying, give me your guns. If he was still the sheriff, he would never, ever, ever send his people to do that. Luckily, Sheriff Murphy, who's representing Livingston County, Michigan right now, is making that very promise, saying, no, my department's not going to be coming for your guns for red flag. But hold on a minute. Most sheriffs aren't saying that. Sheriff Darleaf, shout out to him, Berry County. I saw him backstage at the event, at the rally. And we're going to talk about the rally in just a minute, guys. It's very important to talk about these things. But Darleaf's like, no. They come into my county at my pleasure. I'm the constitutionally elected sheriff. So there's a couple out there fighting really hard, but for the most part, the cops are just going to, so your door gets knocked on. Just think about this. In the state of Michigan, your door gets knocked on. You're like, what is it? Are they coming just to take all my guns with no due process at all? Oh, geez, oh, Pete, hopefully I can scratch up the money for a good lawyer to go prove my innocence. Prove your innocence? In America? Excuse me. I'm appalled by that. You should be appalled by that too. Okay? It's okay to get angry, but then you need to take that anger and channel it into something good, something positive. And that's what I want all of you to do. I'm just letting you know. I said the Third Amendment. Well, hold on a minute. So are they going to be knocking on your door to take your guns or to lock you up for saying, pardon me, ma'am or sir, but excuse me? They could be knocking on your door for that. And it wouldn't surprise me if in the near future someone's sitting there, and shout out to all the veterans, shout out to all the active duty. A lot of my friends are veterans, and I'm getting really old, so I don't really know too many active duty people anymore. You know what I mean? Even a lot of the career military people that I went to school with and whatnot are retiring. So pardon me, I don't know a lot of active duty because I'm just getting that dang old. But anyways, shout out to you guys, but it wouldn't even surprise me in a year from now in the state of Michigan if they're like, excuse me, but I'm Private First Class Smith. They've got their duffel bags and their kit, and you'll sleep out in the garage, and I'm going to take quarter in your home. I mean, why wouldn't they do that? That's what the Brits did. The Brits also came for the guns. The Brits also were after their freedom of speech, their right to privacy. I mean, if you believe history repeats itself, think about that. You live in the state of Michigan and many other states. I keep saying Michigan because that's where I live, but you guys can probably apply this to where you live. It's like knocks on the door. It's like, all right. Oh, you yawn. Oh, knock at my door again. Oh, it's a typical day that ends in the letter Y. What are they here for today? Are they here for my guns? To throw me in prison for speech crimes? Or is it Private First Class Smith that's going to be taken up and he gets the master bedroom? Maybe you can sleep in the living room. Maybe you get relegated to the garage. Your wife will still have to come in and cook him dinner, but, I mean, you guys think I'm being hyperbolic, but in a country where a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And that literally means what it says and says what it means. It's very succinct and it's very well written. And there shouldn't be any way to pervert that language. It literally says shall not be infringed. Shall is a command. It's not optional. And the Second Amendment doesn't give you the right to keep and bear arms. That's what's so beautiful about this country. No. These are the laws of nature and of nature's God. These rights were endowed by your creator. And it's simply telling the government, you shall not infringe. You didn't give the rights to we the people. You don't have the power or authority to take it away. But we do live in a country now with over 20,000 federal gun control laws and CFRs, regulations, where you can go to prison in many states for saying the wrong thing. Why wouldn't they start quartering soldiers? Why wouldn't they start doing everything that the British Empire was doing? Why wouldn't they start doing everything the CCP was doing? I don't know. Ask the governor of Michigan about that. Because the CCP is going to be controlling large tracts of land in Michigan here. I mean, I wish I could just wake up and called out as a liar and everything I'm saying is not true, but it actually is. But boy, oh boy, was that gun control agenda number one right at the top of the old list when the new session swore in. These people have a 2-seat majority in the Michigan House and a 2-seat majority in the Senate. They do not have a super majority. It's that close. Think about that. It's literally that close. And they're doing all of this. Thanks, QD. QD with another super chat. Thank you, QD. He says, that ragged out Taurus, that thing still runs? Well, I can't touch guns here, but tomorrow night on Locals, I can pull up whatever ones you guys want to talk about. Yeah, all of my Tauruses are running, actually. Are you talking about the Taurus car? I don't have a Taurus car. You said Taurus. I'm looking at the Taurus pile. Oh, let me get over here. Everything's reversed. See the Taurus pile? No, I don't have a Ford Taurus. But I do have a Buick LaCrosse. 2005, The corners are rusted through where you can see some of the insulation. But yeah, ask some of these guys in the chat. I drove over 100 and something miles each way, way over 100 miles each way, to make my way out to Ionia, Michigan for the rally. With doing repairs and doing the work myself to keep it going. QD has actually seen my car before in real life, so I don't drive nice cars. Ultra Mega Mama Linda, there she is. There's my pretty girl. She says, member super chat from DLD After Dark. If a government becomes destructive to these ends, guys, look, if the government becomes destructive to these ends, it's not only your right, but it's your duty to abolish that government and to put forth a new government that seems to you to be most likely to affect your safety and happiness. That's what I'm talking about right now, guys. You have somebody representing you, and they're representing contrary to the United States of America and contrary to the Constitution. You and a whole heck of a lot of people that you're spreading the word to need to say, you're fired, you're done. I always say this, and I think people kind of just snicker, and they're like, yeah, right, whatever. We might have like one of the best state reps or senators that there ever was in the whole country watching this chat right now. I truly believe that. Like, you guys are very smart people. A lot of very good people that hang out here. When I say, look, if there ain't nobody around that's up to the task that you could truly trust, maybe some of you guys need to start running. I'm being dead serious. Or if your friend or your cousin or your neighbor or someone you work with, you just know that they'd be in there having the Constitution's back. Constitution of the United States, or the Constitution of West Virginia, if that's where you live, or Florida, or Michigan, or New Jersey, or New York, or Washington, Arizona. It doesn't matter. There's evil people in all of these 50 states, and there's beautiful, awesome people in all of these 50 states. If you can't do it, or you think you do a really crappy job, don't run for office if you do a crappy job. But if your heart's in the right place, and you're like, hey, man, Joe up the road there, now I can see that guy going to Lansing or whatever your state capital is and making a difference. Get behind him. I'll tell you what, a lot of times it just takes a lot of knocking on doors and flyers and just talking to people. Some of you guys, I'm challenging you, some of you guys may actually have to run for public office if that's what you have to do. If you're the praying type and you believe in a creator and you have a God that you pray to, pray to God, pray to your God. Look, I'm a Christian. I'm never going to apologize for that. You don't have to be, and I can't. I'm not going to judge your soul. But whatever it is that you get your motivation from, pray to wherever you get your strength from and say, is this what I'm supposed to do? Is this whoever's supposed to do? And try to do something. So don't take me lightly when I say that, like, some of you guys probably would make the best township trustee or county commissioner or state rep or state senator. I truly believe that. QD with a super chat. Thanks, man. $10. And he says, my pronouns are 10 Ooh. Hold on a minute. Can I say that in Michigan? 10 millimeter is going to lodge a criminal complaint. Representative Bob Bazat's going to be like, you know what, 280 to you? You're my friend. But the sheriff's coming to your house. I'm like, excuse me? He wouldn't do that. I'm just giving him a hard time. But you misgendered 10 Does that stand for 10 male? Ooh. I just better hope there's nobody out there with the name 10 that's watching this from this chat. Someone's like, my name is 10. I just got called 10 That's it. Don't worry, though. We'll just take advantage of the old Third Amendment while we're at it. While he's locked up for misgendering a caliber and a handgun caliber, we'll just start quartering troops in his home or like whatever. Like, why not? You know what I mean? Yeah. You know? Thanks again, QD. So I did a speech at the event, and I wasn't letting you guys in that video. Make sure you guys go watch the video. Did you guys watch it yet? It's not getting a lot of views. Maybe it's just a boring topic to you guys. You guys are like, yeah. 2A EDU's pretty boring. Speeches are boring. I have a feeling that's not why, though. It's probably the algorithm. But whenever you guys watch my videos, don't forget to leave a comment, hit like, share it with all your friends. That's how you beat the algorithm. When other YouTubers tell you that, they are not joking. So do what you got to do to help get it past the algorithm. But yeah, that was my first really public speech I've ever done. Asterisk, my friend Amber. She used to be a regular in the streams. I haven't seen her lately. She did invite me to come and speak in front of a group with Tammy Clark 3 years ago. Tammy's become a good friend of mine since then, too. She's another awesome patriot in the state of Michigan. And it was a public speaking event, but there was like 12 people there, so it was kind of not. But this was the first time I ever spoke at a rally, like at all. I was so darn nervous. Like I said in that video, Tammy was the one that basically said, she insisted, was her exact words, and she said, I insist, because she was one of the event organizers. John Rocha was the main guy, if you will, but her and many, many other people. I don't want to forget anybody. All of the staff there was awesome. Like, drove me like from my car on a golf cart to backstage. Like, they really gave me the royal treatment, which was awesome. Like, do you need a cold water, sir? No, there were some awesome ladies that were back there behind stage making sure everything was okay. And Tammy insisted. She said, no, 2A Edu has to be here and has to speak. So I did, and I went there, and I'm like, Tammy, what's that? How's it going? I'm like, I'm scared and stuff. And she's like, give me a break. She's like, I watch your videos. You talk to all these people. She's like, how many people have you talked to? It's like, well, they just sent me an email. I don't keep track of this stuff. I'm not a numbers guy. You guys know that. But they just sent me a thing and said, congratulations. Your channel has achieved 10 million views. Okay, so apparently 10 million people have heard me talk. But there's something different. I was actually scared like crazy. Luckily, I had a friend backstage that was giving me encouragement. And I just went up there and Crazy Heathen channel. His name's Phil. He's standing right there. I can't remember the other guy's name that was standing to the left of me, but he's also a good dude. I've seen him at many rallies before. I'm looking down there. I'm like, man, I see a lot of friends out here in the audience. I'm like, well, hold on. There's so-and-so. There's so-and-so. Jane Locke was back behind stage, making sure somebody didn't come up from the woods. Because there are crazies that do threaten people at these type of events. I'm like, dude, I'm just sitting in my shop talking to people, and that's what I tried to do. So if you want to see me give my first actual like public rally type speech, if you will, I did open for Kyle Rittenhouse at the Second Amendment rally in Ionia, Michigan. And member super chat from Ron Wayne says, your speech during that event was great, brother. Well, thanks, Ron. I appreciate it, man. And shout out to you and your channel. And yeah, I went there and I spoke at the event. And they don't pay you to do that stuff either. So all of you guys, like I said, that's why I want to read these super chats and thank you all, because that's how I'm able to make it there. I did not get paid a penny. I got in free, but yet it was free admission for everybody, right? So I walked through the doors just like the rest of you did. Probably the only thing I got more than you guys got that went there is I got a golf cart ride. That's because I was the first speaker. So they hurried up and got me to the stage. And I could have as many like bottles of water as I wanted behind, like backstage. And they had, I don't know, like salty cookie cracker snacks and mixed peanuts and stuff. So there you go. That was my payment for doing it. But I wanted to be there. And I'm glad that I did. Member super chat from Denny's Plant-Based Journey says, thanks for all the good work you do. Keep it up. Well, thanks, man. And Denny emailed me wanting to know some dates. Guys, all the supporters of the channel, we do a 2A EDU hangout. And I need to finish talking to Pillbox Bunker a little bit more here. Make sure. I don't want to speak for him. Sometimes things change, and if they do, I totally understand. But last time I checked, we are planning on having another hangout here in Michigan, and I will be sending that invite. So supporters, make sure you're checking your Patreon, your locals, okay, channel members, and I'll be sending that out soon. And hopefully you can come, man. That'd be awesome. Keep up the good fight in Texas, dude. Wherever you guys are at, just do something. Encourage your friends to do something. I promise you it's rewarding. Here's something for you guys to look forward to this weekend. Try to come up with something fun to do where you can help win the Second Amendment culture war. And it's also fun to do. if you guys are like me, I have fun and enjoy myself actually thinking about fun things and things that I want to look forward to. Maybe it's going to the range. Okay, go to the range, run your drills, do all that. A well-regulated militia being necessary. Okay, that's very important for you to be well-regulated. No, that doesn't mean gun control regulations or the jackboot of the government on your neck. No, no, no. Regulated means at the ready, well-trained, well-armed, a force to be reckoned with. The Founding Fathers' worst fear, by the way, is that we would ever have a standing army in times of peace and that the military would ever be more powerful than the people's militia. So don't forget that. If anything, the Founding Fathers would want you to have a FA with a fun switch M4 and the Army, the military, to have the AR-15 semi. Think I'm joking? Go back and read the founding documents, like all of their deliberations before the actual Declaration of Independence and in between that and the Constitution. I'm not even joking. I know that sounds so strange and so messed up, but I promise you, if you read the Founding Fathers, debates, deliberations, documents, letters, quotes, there's so much subject matter on this out there. I will probably never have time to read all of it, but I've read a lot. They would actually have it where you had the MG and they had the semi-auto. But here's where we are today. Now, with that said, yes, go out, do your drills and all that. But there's more to it than that. There's way more to it than that. Because the Founding Fathers weren't just out there drilling and their militias marching, and they did that too, obviously. But they were also out there building the culture war. That's where I said they'd meet in the tavern. They'd meet out in the woods. They'd talk. Now, they would have social events and have fun too, okay? And that's what you need to do. So, yes, go to the range, you do you, but see if you can get a friend to the range. That's what I want to challenge you guys on. And don't shove it down their throat. You know the type of person they are. If they need, some people can take bigger doses at a time, bigger bites at a time than others, different paces for different people. Look, I don't appeal to everybody, obviously. That's why this is a small channel and always will be. But you guys have your ways of talking to your people. Maybe take a youngster to the range if you can. You know, if it's somebody where you're not their parent or their aunt or uncle, if you're close enough to them that you would take them, but not quite close enough, have their parents come, whatever, you know. And look, take a young man, take a young lady to the range. You can take an old person too. It doesn't matter. Sometimes they say there's no fool like an old fool, though. And once they get old enough, maybe they're set in their ways, but maybe not. Everybody's different. That's where you can have fun, though. Go out to lunch. Okay? How intense your conversation is politically, you'll decide that. But at least start to sneak in the Second Amendment with them and start to talk about that. Go out, do some shooting. Look, sometimes just by putting a gun in someone's hand for the first time and them shooting it and being like, whoa, this gun's not inherently evil. It's actually only doing exactly what I tell it to do. It can ease their fears. And a lot of people are anti-gun literally just because they're afraid of it. They think it's this thing that can like, blah, 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 and like come after them or whatever. I know you guys are laughing right now, but I've had people that are dead serious. So like, oh, I wouldn't get near that. It could just like come after me and stuff. I don't want to be like, you moron, but I'm like, well, why would you? You can't be that way if it's actually somebody worth talking to. Okay. I'm not telling you guys to go out there and find your nearest Antifa member or Moms Demand Action. No, some of those people, just ignore them. You don't have time for them. I'm talking somebody that still has a chance, okay, of getting it and being a Second Amendment supporter. Just start to talk about it a little bit. Show them how the gun works. Start real small, real basic. I found when you take someone out to shoot for the first time, if you hang out and talk about it for half the time, and if they get to fire 5 shots, that's plenty enough, actually. And if they kind of hand you the gun after 5 shots and they've still got a smile on their face and they say, well, that's enough, just back off and say, awesome, awesome. Hey, do you want to go get some lunch? Do you want to go grab a Slurpee, an ice cream cone? I don't know. Do you want to go watch the sunset? Take your date out shooting. Whatever it is that you guys are doing, we have to make this a win-win. So it's not like, oh, geez, I have to go to the Second Amendment rally today. No, I get to go to it because I get to see this person and that person and hang out with all these cool people. And it has to be that way. You can't just be constantly doing stuff because it's my duty. It's my duty. That should be enough, but we're just people, right? We need to be motivated and make it where it's fun. Make it where it's a win-win for you. Make it where it's a win-win for other people that are involved. Bring up the conversations how you need to, how you have to. But I've seen people before where they're out there with the newbie and they shoot 5 rounds and they've still got a smile on their face and they're like, yeah, that's awesome. And they're like, here you go, though. I'm just kind of done right now. They're not saying they're never going to come back. They're just like, that's enough right now. And then the guy or whatever is there. It's like, no, like, I brought a whole case of 1,000. Like, we need to get in like 10 reps of 100. Like, we have to finish these drills before we can leave. That can actually turn them off pretty quick. But just have a good time. Just talk about stuff. Talk about life on the range. Like owning guns, shooting guns. It's just perfectly normal. Some people do it where it's all hyped up like it has to be this big thing. It actually doesn't. You can just act normal with normal people and get rid of some of those barriers where they're like, oh my gosh, I've never even touched a gun before. It'll come after me. It'll just go off. It'll just do this. It'll just do that. And it's not true. But they're not going to know it's not true until somebody like you shows them that. Maybe there's an event in town. Maybe there's a concert in town. Speaking of the rally, there was an awesome band that was there. Those guys were cool as heck. I actually got to talk to and hang out with quite a bit. Their lead singer, he goes by Doc. When I'm done here, I'll leave a link to his YouTube channel down in the description. But yeah, the American Revival Band. They're a small hometown band here in Michigan. And they're like, man, we're just playing at like the regular bars. And they're singing about patriotic stuff. And Don't Touch My Guns is one of their songs. Go to a concert to see somebody like that. Go to a Jason Aldean concert. You guys get what I'm saying with all this. Have fun while you're doing it. QD with another super chat. Thanks, man. I appreciate you, dude. Michiganistan. I know. Jeez, oh Pete's, man. That hurts. We have to turn this around quick, guys. Michiganistan is a much, much different place than it was 30 years ago. Jeez, oh Pete's, man. Ouch. Man, thanks, dude. I appreciate it. Wow. Yeah. Michigan, like, is a lot different place than it was, like, 8 months ago. Actually, don't forget that. Like, they put in major, major gun control in the last couple months. Speech laws in place. Banning guns from the Capitol. I heard something really sad, and I might do a video about this soon. It was reported in a paper. Let's see if I can find it real quick if you want to get another chat queued up. Linda, there was something reported in one of the local papers that I didn't like hearing, guys. First of all, there was a lot more people at the rally in Ionia than what the fake news said there was. Period, cold stop. But there weren't many. There wasn't nearly enough. And I told you guys, I said, I'll give you a temperature check of how the state of Michigan's doing next week after this rally. And it's not good. It's not good at all. When I went to the state capitol, I'm trying to pull up this article so I can give you guys a quick synopsis of it. When I was at the state capitol in Michigan, right after the Michigan State tragedy happened, in a gun-free zone by someone who had already been busted committing gun crimes, quote unquote. They didn't properly prosecute. They just let him go. So who cares if there's laws when they just let them go? And yeah, again, these laws only affect the law-abiding. Obviously, like for the millionth time, they filled up the whole Capitol lawn. Boy, I was walking next to Jamie when we were walking from her office over to the house for I was just right on top of her. Like, I had a gun on me. I'm like, I'm armed. And if somebody sees her and is like, oh, there's a Republican, go get her. Like, you've seen this stuff. You've seen state representatives attacked. I was basically touching her the whole time. Like, just like my arm. I had to make sure I felt contact with my shoulder on hers as we're walking past around this crowd. Dude, they filled up the whole steps and the whole front lawn, the gun control activists. Then they went inside and filled up the rotunda on all of the floors and filled up the whole entire house gallery. They filled the whole thing up. Second Amendment supporters filled it up a couple years ago. Now we can't even get more than a couple hundred people to come to a rally. What do you guys think? Be candid with me. I'm being candid with you. Look, and it was an awesome rally too. So many good people were there. I had a great time. But there weren't enough people there. And the left is trying to take this, the anti-gun is trying to take this as a huge, huge victory. And there's an annual event in September. Trying to find this article. If not, I'll do a separate video on it. Where they're talking to the organizer who organizes a rally in Michigan every year in September. Okay. I don't want to misquote it too much because I'm trying to find the details here. But he's saying he's thinking about, he's kind of 50-50, to paraphrase, of even having that rally in Lansing in September, which they have every year. And saying, dude, like nobody's coming to rallies anymore. If ain't nobody going to show up, it's like better that we don't even have them. Again, I'm paraphrasing this guy, and I don't know him personally. But that's kind of where we're at right now. Saying, well, would we even have another rally? Because if you have a rally and like nobody shows up, it doesn't look good. It's not a victory in the culture war. QD, thanks for the super chat, man. I appreciate it. He says, why does RoboCop happen in your state? Jeez, oh, Pete. I saw earlier, he said, Ed209 has entered the chat. Hey, you think he's joking, but I don't know. How much longer? How much longer, right? Until it's true. I don't know. You guys ready to do something? We need to have fun doing it. Let's hang out together. Let's do stuff, guys. Gosh dang it. We have to do stuff. We have to get more motivated and active. Find out who's who in your hometown and in your state capital. Very important. QD with another generous super chat. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate you, dude. He says, you need to run for office. It's you. You run for office. Security will be easy. Quit making fun of the best millimeter. Well, first I have to confess. Oh, boy. I'm going to get a couple thumbs down. So don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you guys like the stream. I'm about to get a couple thumbs downs. I'm actually more of a 9mm guy. Ooh, I know. Just stop, guys. I love the 45. 2 world wars. There's just something about the 1911, but I'm actually mainly a 9mm guy. But we won't get off track too much. Look, dude. Everybody has their purpose. Everybody has ways that they can fight the good fight. I'm extremely lucky that my state representative is 100% pro Second Amendment. I think she's doing a wonderful job. She's a really good friend of mine, and I wouldn't rather have anybody, including myself, representing my district in Lansing. So that's first and foremost. Second of all, I don't think that's my calling to run for office. I'm trying to affect change in culture in other ways. Look, nobody likes politicians. The United States Congress has like a 12% approval rating. That means like 1 in 10 people like how the Congress is doing, 9 in 10 don't. Right? I don't have the money to run on the national level. And like I said, my state representative is doing a tremendous job. And I'm glad that she's there, and I want to back her and get behind her. So that's where I'm at with that. And I don't know. I just don't think I'm cut out for politics. But thank you. I appreciate the encouragement, dude, a lot. I just don't quite think that's my cup of tea. I'd probably be arrested by the sergeant at arms within a week. Ron Stacy, what's happening, man? Who I saw at the rally. Nice to see you there, dude. He says, appreciate everything you do. And you did an awesome job in Ionia event. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. And I totally didn't even read that right. And you did awesome in Ionia event. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you were there. I did send some pictures over to Phil. I think maybe one or two he was going to pass your way. So, yeah, man. Dude, it was an awesome event. They had that event set up. The grounds it was on. The vendors that were there. Dude, Magnum Sports. That's our buddy Sergey. Sergey's been a longtime channel supporter. That's his shop up there in Greenville, Michigan. Shout out to him. He's going to be having an event coming up here. I'll let you guys know when that happens. I know when it's going to happen, but I'm going to wait for him to get his brochure and flyer out, so I can pass that on to you guys. So again, make sure you're a locals member or you know about the community tab or you're following me on Facebook. Look, Facebook doesn't censor as much certain things as YouTube, but in other ways they do more. They're big tech, all right? I'm not a huge fan, but that's where a lot of people are, and that's why I'm there to share stuff. I'm only like 30-something away from hitting 1,000. So if some of you guys are already on Facebook, go check that out. And I post all these events, like the one that I know is going to be happening this fall. I just need to wait for them to publicly release it, for example. But man, they had that place set up where there could have been 10,000 people in there and it would have accommodated all of them. Right, Ron? We just need more people to get to turn out. We just need more people to get involved. I mean, it's a free rally and there was awesome music there. Like I said, I think they're pretty darn good. The stuff they're singing about is good stuff. They're not a cover band. They do original stuff. They have the American Revival Band there. Kyle Rittenhouse was there. So many other people. It's like the left, the other side, whatever we want to call them, they filled up that whole darn Capitol. Oh my gosh. I would have thought, now keep in mind, we were able to fill up the Capitol with people a few years ago. And there actually weren't even any gun control laws pending. None of them had even passed committee. Here we are, 11 gun control bills have passed, been signed into law in Michigan, and there's like 50 more that are pending. All right, the going's getting tough, guys. All right, everybody tap out. Everybody go to sleep. I know. That's why we have to make it a win-win. We have to make it fun. We have to dovetail the Second Amendment with pop culture, with doing cool stuff, cool people, good-looking people, fun people, funny people, whatever your forte is. You need to use it to start spreading the good word because, man, oh, man. It's a sad thing where when the tougher things get, the weaker people get, and we can't have that. We need to do better than that. 2D with another generous super chat. Thanks so much, man. I really appreciate you, dude. I appreciate all of you guys, by the way. QD's just sending me a ton of super chats, so I'm reading his name more often, right? I know QD does not want it to make it about him. He just knows that it's physically and financially hard to do this stuff, so I appreciate it. He says a Blackwater shirt would get you the same treatment, ... or at least a ride. Gas money, dude. Keep kicking butt. Your energy is one of the few things keeping the Second Amendment alive today. Stay you, bro. Well, thanks, dude. I really, really appreciate that. The money helps, but I appreciate your message even more. Thank you for the encouragement. All right, I have a couple more here, and then we're going to go back to sharing my screen again. I get into conversations with you guys, and you know how it goes. QD said, is Kyle cool? Another super chat. Thanks, man. Yeah, he was a cool dude, actually. I talked to him off and on for, I guess, a couple hours in total, really. Not like straight. He was the belle of the ball, the center of attention, but there was times where it was just a couple of us sitting back there. And yeah, he seems like a nice guy. Yeah, he really does. He was graciously taking pictures with people and talking to people and stuff. And yeah, I don't know him super, super well, but yeah, he seems like kind of what you'd imagine, actually. Just kind of seems like a regular dude. He's young, and man, they sure went after him, didn't they? That's one of the craziest things I've even seen in our life, the way that went down. And thank God for the Second Amendment. But yeah, A nice guy. And I also see here that Endit, I clicked at the same time she did. Endit gifted a 2-way Edu channel membership. Thank you, Endit. I appreciate you, man. And Linda's going to try to look hard in the chat here and see if anyone else gifted, because it's tough sometimes the way it works is by going back and forth between the two different screens that Linda has to work with. Yep, he signed Crazy Heathens AR. Shout out to the Crazy Heathen channel. There she is, Jane Locke. Yeah. Make sure you guys go check out my my community post too. Give those a like. It's all the algorithm. It all helps. Even that poll that I put up. I know you mean it, cutie. Thanks, man. Just taking a quick look at the chat here. Some people are trying to encourage me, it looks like. Some people, I have no idea what they're saying, so I'm not going to even read them. Cool. Ryan got the pictures. Awesome, man. You were hanging out with your son there, right? That's cool. That's building culture. I like that. Brian M. No, I did not ask him that. I didn't ask him that. I did ask him one question. I said, so do you like being called the Kenosha Kid? And he kind of sighs and goes, well, let's put it this way. I don't call myself that. I said, people mean well. He goes, I know. So there you go. That's one piece of insider info. I said, do you like being called the Kenosha Kid? And he didn't look like he was mad, but he didn't look like he was happy. He just kind of goes, I don't call myself that. But dude, like what 20-year-old, or is he 21 now? Nobody that age wants to be called a kid. And then when you're really old, you die for people to call you a kid, right? So like, I totally get it. I remember that age. So if you meet him in real life, don't call him a kid, even though we all mean it like totally affectionately, right? It was just funny the way he said it. He wasn't mean-spirited about it. He just said, I don't call myself that. Kind of in that voice. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, hey, man, I'm just asking. I'm like, they mean well. He's like, yeah, I know they do. He's 2021, which is an extremely young man. I think Crazy Heathen's right. I don't think he likes all the attention, actually. And it wasn't because he was cocky. You could just read his face. He kind of wanted to sometimes get away from like the crowd and just kind of go back kind of literally almost like by himself and play on his phone and stuff. I think he's actually kind of shy. Now, he's probably outgoing in some ways, and he likes to ham up the attention in some ways. Nobody's ever all one thing, but I kind of got the sense that he'd probably just rather be him and just kind of like not the Kenosha Kid, not the whatever. I just think he just kind of wants to be a regular old person, like that's not famous and stuff. I'm not speaking for him, but I'm pretty sure I got a good read on that. He's not a boisterous, loud person at all. I was sitting right back there near him the whole time, backstage. So as like different people walked up and wanted to thank him and give him a high five or get a picture or talk to him, he did way more listening than talking. And I'm sure you noticed that too. You guys that were there and were backstage, like running security and whatnot. He actually did way more listening than talking. And I think he's actually just kind of a quiet guy. I almost just said it again, a quiet kid. Of course, how many of you guys when you were 20 or 21 wanted to be called a kid? Right, G23? I mean, I'm just laughing my butt off right now because that'd be like a huge compliment. Like if you call a girl a chick or a girl, even though she's a 40-year-old woman, that's a compliment, right? I mean, it just depends what age you are. Yeah, sounds like a shy guy with a big heart. I'd say probably, because look, he was very gracious. Anyone that wanted to walk up and talk to him that he could, anything like that, he was just being cool, but he did way more listening than talking. I never heard him doing any, well, I'm this or I'm that or whatever. It was just kind of like hanging out. Taking a quick peek back at the chat here. Okay. Ron Stacy's saying him and my son had a good conversation. They're close in age. See, there you go. See, there's different things people want to talk about, but I definitely wouldn't consider him like a boisterous dude or anything like that. Half the country wants to call him a murderer. It's like, I don't know if it's because Kyle Rittenhouse was in the title. Here's what's interesting. That speech that I gave, and I posted the video here on YouTube. Every comment that I got, literally, every comment was very, very encouraging. So thank you so much, guys. I truly, maybe that'll give me the confidence to do it again if you guys want me to at another event. But I don't know. Maybe it was the worst speech ever, or maybe even half of the gun and 2A community, because they're not always the same thing. There's a lot of people that love guns or like their guns but hate the 2A. We know that. Clearly, we know that, or we would have no gun control. More than half the state of Michigan in this country are gun owners, but I don't know. Besides my April Fool's video, because everyone's so uptight and crabby in this darn community, not you guys, but for the most part, everyone's so curmudgeon and crabby lately. So besides my April Fool's video, I lost more subs on the video where I said me opening for Kyle Rittenhouse than any video I've done since April Fool's. I'm not a numbers guy. I don't care what my sub numbers are. There's many, many things I could do to get 10 times more subs than I have. So I don't care about it in that regard, except for, dude, people unsub from your whole channel over a video. That even means one of two things. Well, maybe three things. Either A, it was the worst speech ever, and they're like, I'm out of here. I hate this guy so much. Or B, they saw Kyle Rittenhouse in the title. Or they're just butthurt and jealous because they're so lazy that they reap what they sow and they don't get to meet cool people like I do. It's one of the three. I have no idea. But yeah, it's a weird thing out there right now. It's a very weird thing. No, the only people, you're wrong, Cutie. The only people that didn't get my April Fool's video, you're 100% wrong, dude. The only people that didn't get my April Fool's video were the ones that just read the title. Because we live in such a low aptitude world nowadays where so many people literally read titles of articles and they read titles of videos and that's it. Somebody would literally have to be brain dead with an IQ of 3 to not get my video because I said, just joking, guys, April Fools. But no, people didn't watch the video. Just like people go in and blindly vote for an R or a D behind their name, or just blindly don't vote. People are stupid as heck, obviously. Like, we all know that, but not all of us are, and you guys aren't. So that's why I'm trying to encourage all of you. Yeah, like Jane said, Kyle was pretty quiet and didn't talk too much at all. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Pretty quiet. Um, 2A is absolute. Did you hear about Paul Harrell being diagnosed? No, I did not hear about that. I don't watch that channel, but I have heard of him, and that sucks, man. I don't want to hear about anybody going through that at all. But no, I did not know that. I don't watch that channel, so yeah, I know who he is. He's a huge channel, way bigger than this, and I wish him well, but no, I did not know that. Yeah, he does. He does. Jaguar Life says Kyle's a chill dude. He takes so much abuse from those that hate him. I know. I know. A lot of people hate me now because I opened up for him at a Second Amendment rally, but I ain't going to apologize for that. I do whatever the heck I want. And I'm glad. I'm not really much into having heroes. I don't like that word too much, but yeah, I look up to the guy, the young man. I look up to him, and I'm glad he did what he did. Man. Hopefully, if I'm ever in that situation, I'm going to be able to act as cool under fire. And wow, he's lucky to be alive right now. He's very lucky to be alive right now. All right, I'm going to go back and share my screen for a minute. and show you guys some pictures from that event. So here's me and Kyle hanging out backstage there. Really, really sunny out. That's why we're both wearing glasses, and super hot. Representative Steve Carr was there. He's a 2A absolutist, and he's one of the good reps for the 2A in the state of Michigan. I also shared a quick story, which this is true. I was there for real life. So I was up in Steve Carr's office a few months back. They were talking about the 2A. And they were flying the rainbow flag, right? All the Dems were flying that. And he said, well, he was in his office. He was just getting ready to walk over to session. And I was in there talking to him about gun control bills. He's like, well, let's walk while we talk because I have to get to session. And that's what we do a lot. When I was talking about walking with Jamie earlier, sometimes you walk and talk because their offices are not in the same building as where they hold session. There's the Capitol building, and then if they're a representative like Steve is and Jamie is and so many of the other ones that I've gotten to know, they're in the Anderson House office building. So we're walking, and he has this big flag that's like in his office, right? American flag. And he's like, yep, a couple of us are going to bring those in. I think Representative Frisky was part of that as well. But I was there, with Steve in his office, and he's like, I'm going to do it. I'm like, you're going to do what? Wow. Okay. Yeah, cool. So me and a few of us, Jane Locke was there that day. Jane can vouch for this story. We're walking over with him and a few of his staff members carrying different parts of this flag, and the sergeant at arms when he gets up to the door. Now, we're not allowed to go on the floor. I have sat on the House floor once because I was Representative Thompson's House floor guest on opening day. And then they get a guest for the state of the state. But unless it's very special circumstances, only representatives and certain staff are allowed in there, not even all the staff. So we walk up to the public kind of boundary point, and then the reps can keep walking. They wouldn't let him in. He was physically denied interest with the Stars and Stripes because apparently only the rainbow flag was allowed. I walked with him that day, and that's what I was just talking about with that story here. I stood right in front of him. He tried to walk around them, and they were basically just standing there like, no, you ain't going to get past. And these are police. They carry guns and have badges, and they are under the control of the Speaker of the House for the House chamber. So that's a quick little story about Steve Carr, Representative Carr. Here's Jane Locke, who I believe is still in the chat right now. She has been for most of the night. Yeah, there's Jane. She's still in there. And she's hanging out with me and Phil, a.k.a. Crazy Heathen on YouTube. Always good to see Jane. Always good to see you. I know you've been struggling with your health a lot, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you seemed like you were feeling a little better. Boy, she got the Kung flu. What, have you been recovering from it for a couple of years? That happens to some people from that. Jeez, oh, peace. But no, me and Phil got to hang out with her, and always a good time. You can see right there, she's got her sidearm right there on her hip, right on the front there. Cocked, locked, and ready to rock. And then I put up a poll. And please go vote in the poll, guys. Look, I'm just trying to build pop culture here. Like a landscaper, a nobody. Like, who the heck am I? Out like shooting guns with a state rep on the range? We need to do more of that stuff, and we need to talk more about that. So I'm trying to make it fun, and I'm giving you guys a teaser for an upcoming video. We both shot an original World War II in 1911. Jamie's friend Lisa brought it out, and we both shot it. I have video footage of both of us. So then I have a question for you guys to vote on. It's called a picture poll. Who do you think did a better job and looked the best shooting it? Look, there's both things. Who did a better job and looked the best shooting it? Video coming soon. I'm like, obviously me on both accounts. I mean, why not? She's beating me 83% to 17%. So get over there and vote. But I actually hope she wins. Make sure you guys go and check that out. I assume that a lot of you, like a lot, don't even know this community page exists. It is there. It's also part of the channel. If it's not your thing and you don't like it, that's cool with me. Go join my locals, all right? But it's very frustrating for all of us when you guys are like, oh my gosh, if I only knew there was a rally. And then I'm like, well, it was on my community page. And several people have said, I didn't know there was a community page. So I wanted to let you guys know about that. If you're just now finding out that it exists, heck, scroll as long as you want. I mean, there's some cool pictures. You might like some, you might not like others. I'm just going out there and I just take these pictures to let you guys know this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to give you guys ideas, give you encouragement, tell you about events. You can see events here. Talk about Independence Day. Here's a really good deal on a flashlight I was sharing a couple weeks ago. Here was me having comments with a representative, Republican, that voted for gun control. Shared another deal with you guys here on awesome holsters. Posted a video up that sometimes YouTube just like really pushes this stuff down. See, I had shared that event twice, as you can see. I was showing you guys a locals post with an excellent deal there. Representative Bob Bazat, Representative Thompson and I at the range, the Forge Tech holster, talking about what the rainbow means to me. Showing you guys me out mulching, a mulch job. Yeah. Just like videos, if you guys see one of my posts and you like it, just hit the thumbs up. If you want to leave a comment, go for it. It's all the algorithm. All right, I'm going to get off in just a minute here. What's happening, Orion Fixer? Nice to see you, man. The sling is what saved him. Yeah, having a sling definitely saved him. I mean, not only the sling, but I know what you mean. If he didn't have a sling, yeah, it wouldn't have worked out that well. QD with another super chat. Thanks, man. He said Kyle's sling game was on point. That's one of the main reasons he's alive. No, I agree. This is, in my opinion, actually impressive. Super chat. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it, dude. And I think you're right on that. Algorithm activate. No, I'm not joking. QD knows this. I mean, I don't want to give up too much personal business, but hey, he publicly left donations to the channel last week, and they went in there and took 50 of them back, at least. They literally do that stuff here now. It's like, really? It's not bad enough that they suppress it so much. It's hard to keep things afloat. Then someone that's being generous, any one of you, and they actually come in and like take it back and stuff. Wow. Kind of crazy. But it happens. QD with another super chat. Thank you. He says, RIP, my Pandora account. From him super chatting this channel. I can't make this up. From him super chatting this channel too much. He's now been kicked off of Pandora. Lost his whole account. Okay. He says, F you, Susie McIndian guy. Oh boy. Susan Wiki. She's no longer the CEO of YouTube, but she still works there for the sole purpose that she's a huge fan of the channel. I can't even say this with a straight face, but sometimes facts are way stranger than fiction nowadays. From him super chatting this channel too much, which I guess like leaving me one would be too much for these people. They've closed his Pandora account, gotten rid of all of his playlists, and like literally won't even let him sign up and pay for his Pandora account. I feel really bad, dude. I feel guilty. It's like, man, can't we ever have a win-win? Like, the man has a few extra bones to throw at the channel, wants to help keep it afloat. I'm barely struggling to keep it afloat. And what happens? No good deed goes unpunished. He gets his Pandora account closed. This is like literally a direct result of leaving me super chats, too. It's that insane. Like, that insane. And I saw one that Linda put up for just 1 second. I think it said $1 from Cutie. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's just to get them more mad, dude. You're going to lose your, like, whatever other accounts you have. You won't even be allowed to exist. Actually, you already don't exist, do you? Anyways, America the Free, what's happening, man? Nice to see you. Left a 556 super chat. Thanks, dude. And he says, hello, 28 Edu. Hope you're doing good. I'm doing the best I can, man. I'm doing good for the shape I'm in, as the old saying goes, right? Now we got to keep up the good fight, dude. I'm really glad to see you here, man. I appreciate you. And you've been around the channel a long time, and your dog's just as cute as ever. So thanks, America the Free. Can you believe that? For supporting this channel, somebody got their Pandora account closed. Like, he showed me screenshots. Okay? He literally, get out there, guys. I'm telling you, if there's a good one in your state, your county, your hometown, you got to start getting behind them. Please have fun. Go to the range. Go out to dinner. Go to these rallies. Go to these events. Like, I promise you guys, you're going to have so much more fun than you've had. Just do a little more of it, because we're in a situation right now where we're right there at that tipping point, aren't we? Those of you that were at the rally, I know you guys have probably already done this 1,000 times, but let everyone else know how much fun this stuff is. If there's no rally in your hometown, get with some people and get one going. People keep saying 2A EDU, you run for office. I know that sounds like an obvious choice. Dude, I'm lucky. Look, I'm cursed in so many ways. There's lots of problems. We have to look at the things we're lucky about. I'm lucky that I have the best state rep in the whole state of Michigan is my state rep. I'm good there. I'm good there. I'm going to fight the culture war in many other ways. But if you guys live in an area and you're looking around and every single one of them is no good on your city council, your township trustee, your county commissioner, your state rep, your state senator, some of you guys are going to have to run. You're going to have to do a good job, and you're going to have to stand up for your oath, and you're going to have to find a friend of yours, a family member, whoever it is, and you're going to have to get behind them. That's very, very important. And you can have tons of fun along the way, like a lot. There's this misconception so often that, oh my gosh, being a conservative is boring. Getting involved in this stuff's boring. No, that's all wrong. It's actually a ton of fun. And we need to make it more fun and remind people of that. I promise. Go to one of these rallies with me, guys. Go to something that's in your hometown. Go there and say, I'm going to have fun today. I'm going to fight like hell for the Second Amendment today. Do it, and you're going to have a great time. I promise you that. The bands are good. The chicks are hot. The guns are cool. Like, everything about this is awesome. Why are people still sitting at home in their basement complaining on their keyboard? Like, it shouldn't have to be this way. So I want to encourage you guys to get out and have a blast. Member super chat from Brian M. Your thoughts on Republicans ballot harvesting? Well, it's a little late in the stream for that. We'll get into that in a little bit. I'm sticking to the Second Amendment. I'll tell you something right now. Look, I'm sick and tired of it's just Republican and it's just Democrats. Like, so don't even get me started on all of that kind of stuff. But I will tell you this. I'm a single issue voter on the Second Amendment. I care a lot about many other things. I truly do. And there's these different state reps and senators that'll vote different ways sometimes that I don't want them to vote necessarily at all. And I just say this as if I was a state representative, I might not have voted exactly the same way. But I can only keep up with so much. The Second Amendment is my one issue vote where, look, you vote on the Second Amendment, okay? Because we don't have to be all exactly alike. I don't want us to be exactly alike. But the Second Amendment's my favorite one because it was put there not for if, but for when they come for all the rest. And I know as long as we can keep the Second Amendment, we still have a chance. Because as much as he's despicable, and I don't agree with him on really anything, I do have to agree with Chairman Mao of China when he so correctly said, all political power comes from the barrel of a gun. And it actually does. And they know that. Because the government's not looking to disarm itself. The government's only looking to disarm you. So that's why when I say I'm a single issue voter, what that means is, yes, of course, I care about many other things. Ask some people who know me outside this channel. I was talking to a good friend of mine on the phone. when I was cutting grass earlier before this stream, and we were talking about other things. And I agree with that friend on most of it, but not everything. But we agreed upon the Second Amendment 100%, no matter what. And that's what it means to be a single issue voter. Some of you may be, some of you may not be, but that's the deal for me. What's happening, Ron? Thanks for the super chat, man. Super generous super chat. Thanks so much, dude. He says there aren't enough words to describe the gratitude for all you do to help preserve our God-given rights. Well, I really appreciate you, man, and you've been a really good friend as well, dude. Ron's like a super, super smart dude, and he's fighting the good fight just as hard as anybody, and I frequently call him for advice. And trust me, when I say, I'm saying this very lovingly, and I have this big smile on my face, there ain't no way. Like I said, that flyer earlier, it was a big mistake by Great Lakes Gun Rights, guys. It was a big mistake. I know Brendan wouldn't do it on purpose. I want to say that one more time, but they made a big mistake. If you get some flyer with a typo for State Representative Jamie Thompson that says that she was for gun control, it was literally a typo, and I promise you that. Because you'd hear it from me, and trust me, Ron, yeah, there is no way. She wouldn't do it on her own accord anyways, trust me, but Ron's one of the biggest Second Amendment and freedom-loving supporters I know, so thanks so much, dude. I'm glad to have you here watching. All right, I'm going to wrap it up in just a second here, guys. We've been on almost 2 hours. Can you believe it? I thought to myself, well, I gave a speech in Ionia. I've done a lot of talking this week. Maybe this will just be a short stream. Then I just hanging out with you guys and have a blast. And here we are. They all take an oath to the same Constitution. I just went back up and said, looking at ballot harvesting. Shouldn't matter if they're Republican. Shouldn't matter if they're a Democrat. Here's one of the biggest problems I have. And if you guys have any last minute advice, give it to me because I'm going to be getting off in just a minute, or come back in the comment section afterwards. But you know something that frustrates me more than just about anything? Why does the Second Amendment have to be a political issue? Okay? When it comes to politics, we should be arguing about all kinds of stuff. The Second Amendment is 100% clear. If you live in Michigan, our Article 1, Section 6 is 100% clear. And in most states, there's a version of that. Anything that is part of the supreme law of the land, some people even like to bring case law or Supreme Court precedent into it. Okay, fine, whatever. The Constitution is still the supreme law of the land. But look at the 1803 Marbury v. Madison decision. All laws that are repugnant to the Constitution are void. We shouldn't even have to talk about this at all. You guys shouldn't need to know me right now, but I'm really glad we do. So everything happens for a reason, but to even have to talk about the Second Amendment being preserved is preposterous in a country where the supreme law of the land says shall not be infringed. And sometimes people will come in and watch my gun videos and they'll say, I came for the guns and I left for the politics. I'm like, well, and you're going to lose your guns soon, unfortunately, because I didn't make it political. I don't want it to be political. But the other side's made it that way. And the other side's fighting really hard. And they're not slowing down. They're only gaining speed. And I didn't come up with this quote. Andrew Breitbart did. But he's not alive anymore. So I want to keep it going. Because I think it's an incredible quote. He said, politics are downstream from culture. And that's why I titled this stream The 2-8 Culture War. Because we are in a culture war. And if YouTube didn't recommend it, look, there's algorithms against us. There's a lot of stuff against us with big tech. Maybe you didn't even know I put the video out, but I talked about how there was a big battle in the Civil War where people were picnicking in the midst of it and didn't even know what's going on. And I think there's a lot of people right now that have no clue that the Second Amendment is under attack in the state of Michigan and in so many other wonderful states in this country right now. They just sit there like, really? What's going on? That's why this is a culture war, and we have to win at all costs, or Look at other countries where they took all their guns and took any version of a Second Amendment or something similar away. Not so good. All right. Did you have a couple more, Linda, real quick? And then I'm going to head on out of here. Thanks again, Ron. I appreciate you, dude. Cutie with another super chat. He said, Team America, yay. Dude, you're never getting that Pandora account back. Like, you're never, ever, ever, ever getting that thing back if you keep super chatting me, dude. So, you better stop, but I appreciate it, man. 2A is absolute Tim. Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. He says, have you thought of talking to Elijah Dickin on your channel live or have him speak at a rally? I don't know. Don't really know much about him. Is he a Second Amendment supporter? I'd have to look through. I probably know who he is. I just can't think of it right now. I don't know. I have to know who somebody is and be pretty close to him before I have him on here. But yeah, that's a good idea. I'll look into it. I don't know. Keep in mind, guys, I'm a small channel. I'm not going to draw in these big celebrities and stuff. So I don't know if that's the case, but thank you for the suggestion. Cutie, once again. Oh, boy. He's going to call out our buddy John Crump. Uh-oh. We were hanging out with John Crump down in South Carolina a couple months ago. Cutie still razzing him. He says, Crump, my hat. Huh? Look. People say, where do I get the 2A EDU hat? Where do I do the merch? Well, unfortunately, the company that did the merch is out of business. But I will tell you guys where you can see a 2A EDU sticker. They're nice stickers, right? If you go to Lansing, Michigan, to my favorite Michigan State Representative Jamie Thompson's office, you will see a 2A EDU sticker on the fridge there. So there you go. But other than that, it's kind of hard to get my merch. I try to play hard to get with it. In other words, the company that made it went out of business, or I would totally send you a hat like right now, QD. You guys have given me a couple suggestions. I don't want to use like Teespring and all that. Maybe I need to. A lot of you guys want to represent the channel, and I really appreciate that. I'm honored by that. But like, it's cool if it was like a Second Amendment supporting company and stuff too, and that's why it was a good fit. Until they went out of business, right, Pillbox Bunker? But I did get a bunch of patches back, so stay tuned, guys. I'm going to hook some channel members and channel supporters up with some patches. I did get some of those. All right. Is that it, Linda? Thank you. QD with a super chat again. All right, he's not going to be allowed to have Pandora, or you just may as well put earplugs in, dude. You're never going to listen to music again. He says, the wizard from Harry Potter. You'll have to ask my daughter about that. She read a couple of Harry Potter books. That's not my cup of tea. So I think sometimes you guys forget how old I am. You know what I mean? Jeez, oh, Pete. You guys are asking me. I'm like, dude, ask somebody younger. Like, it was funny earlier. Gosh, that goes to show you're getting old. When I'm like, shout out to all of my veteran friends and active duty friends. Hold on a minute. When you're young, you've got a bunch of friends that are active duty, right? Get out of high school. I'm like, dude, all my active duty friends, even ones that literally went through the full 25-year retirement, they've already retired, or they're in the midst of doing it like right now. Oh my gosh. Then you guys ask me about Harry Potter. Ugh. Get out of here, QD. Walker Customs, contact your reps, people. Yes, absolutely. Contact your reps. Send the email to the federal ones. Look, that matters. I don't want for 1 minute to say that doesn't matter, but I think we can get a lot more encouragement and a lot more results. Let's just do it the old-fashioned way, guys. Like, just start at the bottom and keep working our way up. Dude, I'm really good friends with one of my township trustees, guys. His name's Chris Collins. He's an awesome dude. Like, please just trust me enough to try. You're going to meet awesome people. Go up to the county board of commissioners. There's a lady named Dawn Asper. Sometimes she watches this streams. If she is tonight, dude, I love your fight for the Second Amendment and for the Constitution, Don. Greg Moore Jr., I've done a video with on this channel, all right? If I tell you guys one more time how awesome my state representative, Jamie Thompson, is, you might not believe me, but you'll believe me, so I'll tell you how awesome she is again. Like, just a cool lady. Like, just Jamie's an awesome person. Joe Bellino, my state senator. Joe's a cool dude, man. Like, I'd go just hang out with Joe. So, like, outreach, talk to people. There's some that are not so cool. Well, if you're better than them and you're more constitutionally minded than them, that's where you need to come in and get behind somebody that's good, right? And I definitely want to give you guys as much encouragement as possible. And Colin L., next time I go to Lansing, I do have a new sport coat jacket, suit jacket for all of you guys that were generous and did a little fundraising for it via Super Chats in that one stream. I just have to wait for them to go back to session. Speaker Tate canceled session for the House. I know last week, and I think into the near future, and they'll be back in session in, a couple months from now, a month and a half. I don't know. I have no idea. I kind of never, ever, ever want to go there again, if you know what I mean. But I'll be back to Lansing soon. Don't worry about that, guys. I'll definitely be back there. There's some people that need to be held accountable. And there's some people there that I need to have their back, and you guys need to have their back. All right. Well, I'm going to talk to Pillbox this weekend the best I can. See what he's up to. I'm going to see what you're up to, Pillbox, and maybe we can get a fun culture building hangout. We've done it 2 years in a row here in Michigan. Hopefully we can get another one going soon, and I look forward to letting you guys know the dates for that. And I'm going to end with this. Ultra Mega Mama Linda said, hit the like button and share this video on your social media. Look, I ain't begging you guys to, but the algorithm does not like when I say this. They like Gretchen Whitmer a lot more than I do when it comes to any of my videos, so it definitely helps. And Jane Locke said, you're not old yet. Hold on. Here's Jane. Jane's been to the Capitol with me. Jane's been all over the place. She's done more of these places than I have. What am I saying? She says, you're not old yet. I have 2 sons older than you, and I'm a Vietnam era vet. I sent the B-52s to visit Kong. So there you go. It's all perspective. I might not be too old, but trust me, I'm way too old to have read Harry Potter as a kid, QD. But I guess maybe it's like an awesome adult book, and I'm just totally missing out on all of it. I have no idea. No problem, Randy Smith. Take it easy, man. And at the very last second, I just got a super chat from Colin L. Thank you, man. He says, Uper Hats. They make shirts, hoods, and hats. It's local, Michigan made. That's cool. And I assume you wouldn't have recommended them otherwise, but are they kind of like pro-Second Amendment or conservative in their ways or love the Constitution a little bit? Or at the very least, are they not like totally like left-wing, left of Mao liberal? Like the Democrats in Lansing that have a 2-seat majority but think they're in the CCP and stuff? I assume you wouldn't have recommended them if they were that way, but that is one of my criteria. Because if back when I had merch, if I sold a hat or a shirt, I'd only get $2 off of it, $3. The company would get $2-3. Because when you're making them on small scale, you can't charge $50 for a shirt. But I don't want like some complete person like company that hates everything I do to be making even 1 penny off my merch. So you guys know what I'm saying, right? And QD came in just one more time for $1 to make sure he's never, ever, 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 ever going to have Pandora or any apps, whatnot, on his phone ever again. So QD will give me how much? What did he say? 55,000 for a hat? Well, geez, oh, Pete. Well, I mean, I guess what's the old saying? I'd take. Oh, you don't want this one. It's all dirty. Thanks, Colin. No, we'll check into it. I'm not going to give them like a quiz. It's just, you know what I mean? We have to be principled in some things. Like, I'll give you an example. If the majority floor leader of the Michigan House of Representatives, right, if he had a apparel company, I would never, ever, 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 ever use his company to make my apparel. Just picking some random person out of there. Or Pohutsky that gavels down all of my freedom fighting friends that are representatives on the floor trying to speak the truth. And so there's just two random people that are public figures. So when they run for office, they bring the scrutiny upon themselves. So I have no idea. I have no problem whatsoever calling them out for all of their antics. But yeah, like there's two people that no matter what, I would not get my merch through. Just two random people that are running the Michigan House of Representatives. Like they have a supermajority, and they don't. Other than that, just totally random, and I don't really give a crap about them at all. In fact, if they get away from my country's constitution, they could just do them all they want. We'd be cool. We could be friends, but since they won't stay away from the Constitution, unfortunately, we can't be friends. All right, good night, Misty Wayne. Good night, Loki PDX, G23, Pillbox Bunker, QD, Nutty 357, and I appreciate all of you. I will be back on Locals tomorrow night for a stream where I touch guns and on here soon. Make sure you go vote in that poll, okay? Who do you think is going to do better with the 1911? Me? Or my state representative? You can decide. The video's already recorded, so I already know the results. Of course I did better, like, obviously. But go vote in the poll, and then we'll put that video out soon. Just trying to have some fun. And you guys are never going to let me get off of this stream because I have one more super chat come in. Mike Reese, thank you. I appreciate it. Says, trust in God and his son Jesus, we shall prevail. May peace be with you all, and stand tall, stand true. Well, thanks for those encouraging words. And yeah, that is where I find my peace and wisdom from. I do. And that means a lot to me. And wherever you guys find your peace and wisdom from, get acquainted with him or Ed or whatever it is, because you need some encouragement. We need some encouragement. We need to have fun, and we got a lot of work on our hands here. A lot of work on our hands here in the state of Michigan and many other places. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. Shampoo says, oh my gosh. Oh, geez. We're going back to, has anyone had a high school girlfriend? You hang up. You hang up. Hopefully you didn't. Wait a minute. Hold on. Did anyone have a high school girlfriend? Has anyone ever broken up with someone or been divorced? Imagine that. Ooh, red flag loss. You hang up. You hang up. It was great until you broke up 37 years later. Ding, 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 ding. All right, guys. I'm out of here. I have another super chat that I missed. Colin L says, I will look into it next week. I promise. Well, thank you, Colin, for being generous yet again. You didn't have to pay to say that, but thank you. And good catch. Good catch, G23, having his brother Colin's back. What's up, G23? Shout out to your channel. I hope things are doing good, man. And here we go. Now Loki PDX is chiming in. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Says, shout out to Tri-County Gun Club in Oregon, and Member Appreciation Day is tomorrow. Okay, there you go, man. That's what I'm talking about, dude. You didn't have to super chat it. I do appreciate the donation. There you go. Tri-County Gun Club in Oregon, and Member Appreciation Day is tomorrow. Shout out to Tri-County Gun Club on Oregon and Member Appreciation Day. So if you guys are around there, you'll know more about what that is than I do, but that's what I want you guys to do. Let each other know. Be like, hey, anybody in Oregon in the chat tonight? Well, geez, I am. Maybe 2 or 3 people will pop in and say, yeah. Let them know what's going on. Thank you. That's the spirit of what I'm talking about. That's what I've been talking about this whole night tonight, actually. All right. I'm going to get off of here. Oh, boy. Thanks for the super chat, Mike Reese. I appreciate it. He left another $10 super chat. Says, hang up, LOL. Keep the fight, brother. Love to all that stand for our rights. Well, thanks, man. And I appreciate you standing for our rights and everybody that is. Just do something. You guys do you. Next week when we're here, come back and just tell me something fun you did, something positive you did. Tell me how cool the guns were. Tell me how cool the people were, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Go do a little something, make a couple calls, whatever you're doing. Put flyers out, pass flyers out. Just you do you. Just think of something. Have fun looking forward to thinking of stuff. That's what I want to say. Okay, Nutty's got people in Portland. Daughter lives there. Okay. If your daughter's into that thing, call her up. This is in Sherwood, Oregon. See, Sherwood, maybe. You see what I'm saying? Good, good. Yes, we all need you to win. We definitely need to win a lot. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here once and for all. If someone's in the middle of leaving one right now and it comes through after I hang up, I'll read it the next chat. But I do have to jump off real quick. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Thank you for being so generous, and I will see you tomorrow over on Locals and back here on YouTube soon. All right, thanks for watching, and have a good one.